In previous lessons, we've looked at pulling data out of relational databases and the Azure Data Market and text files. So we've already seen that there's a lot of flexibility in where we can get rows of information that we want to include in our tabular data model. But sometimes we might actually find that the information we want is already in a report somewhere. And we could then grab that information from wherever the report got it, reverse engineer it, and so on. But we do have another option. If we had some information, say, in a report, in reporting services, we might just grab that directly. So let's take a look at how we do that. So I'm going to look at a report that I have in SQL Reporting Services. And if I run this report, it has a lot of pages and a lot of information in it. What we're going to do is pull some information out of this report into our data model. And let's see how to do that. So first I'm going to run Excel because I can do this within the SQL Data Tools, or I can do it within Power Pivot. And I'm going to use Power Pivot this time. So I'll click on the Power Pivot window and we bring up our familiar design experience. And on the home page we have from database, from Azure Data Market we've used, from text file is over here, from the external data feed which we used for SharePoint. So let's get started pulling in the data. I'm going to first click on the From Report button in the Get External Data section, and I can give this a friendly name, and this is going to be Web Analytics, I'll call it. And that's just a reference name within the data model. For the report path, I'll press the Browse button, and then I have to specify the report server's URL. If you're familiar with reporting services, you have two URLs. One is the report manager URL, or the front end for the end users, and there's a second URL which is a SOAP web service URL. And even though this dialog box doesn't tell you which one to use, it really is looking for the web service URL. So typically that will end in report server for the native mode of reporting services. So I'm going to double click on that, and if I go down and find the same report, the import wizard will then run the report and show me what is in it. So the world map is the data I'm going to grab, and this is a table that has the country code and the number of visitors from that country. So I'll just click the next button, and this tells me all the tables that are within that report, and I can select one or more of these. I'm really just interested in the one, so I'm going to choose the world map. Now I'm happy with that, so I'll just go ahead and click Finish. Now as I run that, the wizard is going to run the report and just pull out the data from that table, which is 92 rows. I'll click Close, and that's my table. So that was a very easy way to pull this information in. The beauty of this is I really don't know where this came from in my database. Somebody already went to the trouble to make this report and loaded a table with the exact data I wanted, and I can just pull that in. I can give it better column names if I want, like country code, and widen that out so I can actually see it. This column I'll call visitors. So that's it. We've been able to import data from our existing report. We didn't even need to know how the data got into the report or what its actual data source is. We can just reuse it as is, and every time we refresh this data model, we'll get the updated information from that report.